Well, what's interesting along that note is we're actually closer to 2 hotels that are right next to our building. And they're really excited because they don't have the facility space to host events or anything. And, they get calls every week about even a business conference or something like that. And so they actually approached us. I was thinking, well, we're going to have to do the sell here and, they're going to have to see what we're doing and, kind of motivate them to want to be interested in our facilities. And they actually came to us and were like, we are super excited to have you next to us. And I said, but no, I didn't say we're a funeral home. I didn't go that way.
That is, that's wonderful because having the foresight and being bold enough to come up with such a concept. And that's why I wanted to know when you said we wanted to diversify and expand what that meant for you because no one would ever think.
No, you're right. So kind of to answer your question in a roundabout way, probably 10 years ago, I was posed with a question, who is your biggest competitor as a funeral home? And obviously you would think, well, another funeral home in our community. And the person I was talking to said, it's actually going to be, in the future, they said, we see it being more like a venue, like a Marriott or something like that. And, you could say, well, how is that? And they said, because people, I think all you have to think about is right now, how many people say, I don't want a funeral, I want a celebration of life.
Correct.
And that we're seeing that more and more and more. And so when you think about that, a celebration of life is not a traditional funeral service like a lot of people think, where it could be at a church or in a chapel, at a mortuary with pews and, kind of that traditional setting. So I really, was caught by that question when they posed that. And I thought, how do I compete with that kind of venue as Broadway Mortuary, which has been, in the same location since 1938. And I thought, because that's known as a funeral home or a mortuary. And it, I can't break that. Yeah, that's a big marketing, challenge.
Yep.
And so that's when my wheels started kind of turning. And I thought, okay, I'm going to look at this completely different. How do I build something that is a venue that is more like a hotel or other type setting? And that's where I, when I was traveling around the country with the National Funeral Directors Association, I would literally go to different places, and even the hotels we were staying at, like I mentioned before, I'd really start taking notes and say, okay, what's the layout here, that is really conducive to it, any type of event. And that's another thing too. I think, our tagline that we've used is celebrate the seasons of life. And so, and I think death is obviously a very difficult thing for all of us, but it is part of life. And just like a wedding or, a graduation or anything like that. And so I kind of took the glasses off and started looking at it more like, okay, it's part of life. It is truly an event that, we're all going to go through. And so I thought, how do I create this environment that is really comfortable? It's it doesn't, feel and look like a funeral home. It's a place where people walk in and go, wow, this is beautiful. And this is really comforting. And, we've really focused on hospitality and just some of the details and things that we're putting in. So I'm really excited. I mean, there are other funeral homes, around the country that might offer food and drink and things like that. But it is, either in the funeral home or it's like a standalone building that's out in their parking lot that's still connected to the funeral home. And so I thought I'm going to just go a little bit further down the road and just really truly make it a venue.